Yeah, just really proud of these guys. We've had a tough few weeks, and I think these guys have learned a lot. We've seen a lot of growth from this group that didn't necessarily translate to wins, and I think we found an opportunity here where we were able to get stops, and these guys played hard. I'm just proud of, like, you can look down the line in the stat sheet, and we had a bunch of guys step up, and these two in particular did a great job of bringing momentum to the game and playing the right way.
Em's a career high 8 field goals for you in this game, 7 coming from 2. Just kind of talk about maybe your feeling on how the defense, or how Eastern's defense kind of gave you the opportunities to score at the rim when we've kind of seen you more shoot the ball from deep so far this season.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching a lot of film with the coaches, working out a lot, and my focus for this week was actually to come in and, try to rebound and try to dominate inside and, build from inside to outside. And I think today I did an all right job doing that.
For both of you guys, through the last 4 games now, you've held opponents to under a point per possession. Seems like a pretty good trend defensively. Just what does maybe you guys feel like changed defensively? It seems like there's just been an added intensity and added efficiency on the defensive end.
I feel like that's been our focus in practice for the past couple of weeks, like really just focusing on defense and then letting the offense come. We're trying to play out in transition and just focus on getting stops and finishing plays, getting rebounds and playing.
Yes, sir.
You used to go for 40 a few weeks ago, a little bit less of the scoring since. Did you feel like you were kind of higher on the scout for other teams? How did you kind of manage that?
Yeah, for sure. Me and D-Roy have been talking about that a lot. I know they're usually going to be 5 out doubling me, so just hitting the face pass, hitting the slip passes to create for others, and then getting mine back on the second actions or third actions.
Emmanuel, your minutes were around like 15 or 16 in the last few games. Was your ankle feeling okay, or was that like related to that?
Yeah, my ankle's been feeling, it's been feeling better, gradually better, game by game, and I feel like, the coaches have done a good job on managing my load and that type of stuff. So, yeah, I've been feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, you go for 20 tonight. What was kind of working offensively for you tonight?
I'd say my teammates kept on looking for me. Ace right next to me had 5 assists, 0 turnovers, and he came down the lane looking for me, looking for my other teammates, and a lot of guys just made easy plays and got me the ball in spots where they know I like to get the ball and score. So they made it very easy for me. So thanks to them.
For either of you guys, Coach just called you guys the bench mob. I mean, how much pride are you taking in terms of being able to be a big second unit, big scoring for you guys, and for all the guys that come off the bench?
I feel like coming off the bench, I have more chip on my shoulder, coming in trying to prove something, coming in trying to change the energy of the game, whether we're down or up, just trying to make more improvements to the team and make more winning plays.
For sure.
And for both of you, what was the vibe like in the locker room after that win?
It was good. It was a much-needed win. You know what I'm saying? A couple road game losses, come back, get a win. Everybody's excited. It's some feel good.
Hey, so obviously a couple weeks ago, we see what you can do scoring the ball with 40. Today, 5 assists, no turnovers, as Em said. For a freshman to be able to do kind of all of those things offensively, just where have you maybe kind of grown in understanding that there's different ways to be effective offensively without just putting the ball in the basket?
Yeah, for sure. Really just learning that teams are going to start proning in on me because of the 40-point game, but trying to get my teammates more involved throughout them trying to double me, like using that to our advantage to play 3-on-4 on the backside or 4-on-3 on the backside.
Kind of on the same lines, Ace, just from like a emotional or kind of mental perspective, I'm sure it's a little bit of a badge of honor that teams are, that worried about you. Yeah. How do you kind of process the way they're defending you and kind of what that means for where you are, as a freshman?
Yeah, I respect it, but I don't love it. Sometimes I just want to play, but it's hard. But the 5-out, it just lets me create for my teammates, and I feel like that's going to get us a lot more wins when they double me. They get to play 4-on-3 on the backside, and then they got a disadvantage.
All right, we're going to let you guys get out of here so you can get your food, and we'll open it up to questions for Coach.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
I'll just follow up real quick. Like I'm proud of these two for their game tonight, and I was just thinking about it while they're up here. Like probably two of our harder workers, or two of the harder workers that I've coached since I've been around, and that's saying a lot. I've coached some gym rats, and it's really hard in our offense in our defense to play freely without thinking, and especially when you watch as much film as these guys do, when you're in the gym, you're trying to expand your game like they are, it's really hard for you just to go play with freely. And I thought both these guys did a great job this week of not thinking as much, playing the game the right way, and doing their thinking in practice. And I just thought it's cool to see that translate right off the bat like that. And I've been hard on them, and they really stepped up.
I'm going to ask you the same thing about the defense. Again, less than 1 point per possession 3 of the last 4 games now. That includes some pretty efficient offensive teams. Just, you've talked about the defense and wanting to see it get better and better, and it maybe wasn't early on, but just where have you seen the strides of? It does feel like the defense may be turning a bit of a corner.
Man, it's been a process. So this has been a unique experience for me this season with not having that many returners that have significant minutes. And even in my first year when I was a head coach, like we had a bunch of guys that had played minutes and been around before. And so it's just been frustrating to see how well we've done in practice throughout the fall, throughout the summer, and then for us to see kind of a different product on the floor once we started playing games. And that's just the reality of playing college basketball on this stage. And so I was spending the whole fall thinking we had a great defensive team. Like, man, this is one of the best defensive teams I've coached. This is the best defensive team I've coached. They're getting after it. They take pride in it. And after the first 5 games, I think we were bottom 10 in the country in defense. And it was mind-blowing to me. It was just so frustrating to see what I thought was a really good defensive team not be able to execute. And the first couple of games, we were all over the place. 2 guys were in one coverage, 3 guys were in another. We weren't communicating. And then you look at, then we started doing that a little bit better, and then we just weren't playing hard. We were out there thinking. You can't think and play at the same time, and that's something that we had to learn and go through. And I think we took a step in that direction. And so now finally it's like we can kind of make adjustments to teams, and okay, they have Moses who can do this, and they have Huey who can do this. Here's how we're going to take that away, and they're not having to think as much, and it's all kind of coming together. And there's just a little lag time between that, and we're still seeing that offensively. The assist numbers to me are crazy. We have. We're assisting on 75% of our makes in practice, and we're still below 50%. I know we had 18 tonight, but I still think we can do better. And this team is much better than what everyone's seen on the floor. And I thought we took a big step in the right direction tonight.
Last year, I'm not sure you could have gotten Reed to go inside the 3-point line if you paid him. This year, he's showing an aggressiveness attacking there. I mean, 65% now, 11 to 17. He's already attempted himself by almost double so far. Just where have you seen his game grow, especially when maybe we haven't seen him get as hot from 3 as we saw at times last year? Yeah,
again, we'll talk about the lag time. He's shooting 75% in the last month in practice. So that the 3-pointers will come. Ree came to us with a wrist injury. Then he broke his hand after he got that. Then he broke both of his hands or wrists after that. And he literally did a whole year without being able to lift. And so you were seeing a shell of himself last year where probably the only thing he was comfortable doing was staying outside that 3-point line, and he hadn't been able to lift. He finally got a chance to lift and got a little bigger, got more comfortable being inside. I think that's a big part of it. I think he's worked hard. He's been in the gym, and he's always been a really good cutter. But I just think just having an off season where he was healthy.
It seems like you're kind of talking about this dichotomy between what you're seeing in practice and what you're seeing on the floor. It does not always match up. How did you kind of manage that just from a coaching perspective, and what have you had to change about your coaching style to kind of get those to match up?
That's a tough thing to balance, right? You got to believe what you see in practice, and that's something that I've always trusted. I'll go back to Cedric Coward. He was a really good 6-man for us his first year with me. His second year, he came in. We played Utah. They went under every ball screen. He was 0 for 7, had multiple turnovers, wasn't guarding anyone because he was thinking on the offensive end, and it was the next few games, the same thing, and it's just mind-blowing. You're seeing this dude kill everyone in practice, and when you put guys in new position and new roles, it takes time. And what drives me crazy is that they kind of struggle through that in the summer, and then finally by the fall, you see it happening, and oh man, we got it. And then you go to the games, and it's right back to square one, and they have to go through that whole process again. And I really feel that's what these guys are doing right now is you guys are seeing them go through that process. I've seen it all in practice over the last month. These guys work their tails off, and it's just this is going to flip. It really is. I've been around enough teams to know that it's going to flip, and I'm just proud of these guys for sticking with it because it wasn't easy.
I know you joked about Ace coming off the bench, but he's done that for 2 games now. What was kind of your messaging to him in terms of, or I'm sorry, what was your thinking doing that, and for him to kind of respond in that role? What does that say about where he's at right now?
I've said it all year. The dude is the most impressive guy I've coached as far as like taking the challenge that I give him and achieving it. Like he was struggling a little bit like anyone would. Like you go for 40 and the defense changed. And I told him when I recruited him, like, this is the offense that will allow you to play at a high level professionally. Like I could call sets for him every time down the floor and manipulate the defense and probably get him more than he had the last 3 games. That's not what's going to make him successful as a pro. That's not what's going to make our team successful. And so he had to learn those lessons through the fire of like, no, like you don't just get to come off staggers anymore and be open because they have a game plan for that. Like you're the top of the scouting report. Like every ball screen they're gonna probably trap. Like you've shown that you can come off ball screens and shoot. And so like I'm not gonna manipulate that much on the offensive end for him because of the way we play. And at the end of the day, it's gonna help him. And like I've coached some really good guards, and they struggled for 10 to 15 games on this. And just for him to do that in the last, what has been like 4 games since he had 40, and like today was a huge step in the right direction. I thought he clarified some things with me last night when we met, and really just came out and played free.
Dave, there's only like a handful of guys who are on these rosters from last year. Like I feel like it's like a totally new game than the game you guys played last year. Is that lack of continuity problematic in college basketball right now? Is that something that can be overcome, or is it we just have to kind of accept that that's what it is now?
I think we have to accept that there'll be more change. I think it was a unique year for my team, just the way that we lost some guys, and if we can keep the majority of the guys that played minutes and move them up, I think that's a little easier to do. It's changing every year. Like I don't know how to answer that right now because it's probably going to be different in 3 months, and there'll be different rules. And I think the way we play and the way I coach, like it's really important to have guys for longer than a year, and they see big jumps in year 2 and year 3. So I think it's really important for my programs to have that, and I think it's really important for most. And at the end of the day, like guys are more comfortable when they're in the same spot and they can put down some roots. Like Indy is another guy that we're starting to see. Like I'm proud of him tonight. He had some foul trouble, but 12 points and was able to play a little more assertive at the rim. Like he hadn't had the same coach for like basically since he was a sophomore in high school. Like right, he goes to Cal, and I can't remember who the first coach was, and he gets to next year he has Matson, then he comes to me, and he went to like 3 different high schools before that, and it's like he needed to put down some roots, stay somewhere for a couple years, be in the same system, and that really helped him develop as a person and as a basketball player. And like I can go down the list with a lot of guys that I coach, and I think that's super important that you have some continuity there. And at the same time, it's good for some guys to transfer, and it's a huge opportunity for them. And I can't fault a couple of the guys that left me last year. Like they changed their lives, and it's just part of the deal. And we gotta treat every situation differently.
I know that obviously you still have one non-conference game remaining, but what can a win like this to snap a losing streak as you head towards conference play do for your team this year?
Yeah, we just talked about getting over that hump. And we want to look at this game for the rest of the season. Man, we got to that Eastern game. We really turned a corner. We went through hell the 4 or 5 games before that, and we're just crawling our way back out. And I think these guys have done a good job of understanding what that looks like. And I want to look back at this game as the time where we turned our season around.
And Coach, you obviously previously coached this team, so how much more does this win mean to you personally and for your team and for the program? How much more does this win mean?
I really try to block that out as far as like, why it means more and why it means less. It's a college basketball game, and these things are competitive as hell, and it does mean a lot to me to come to here and see all the people and familiar faces and the people that helped me get to this point. There's a lot of people at Eastern that I got a lot of love for, and people in Spokane. Like I spent 17 years of my life here, and just a lot of community members that mean a lot to me, and just really cool to see all the support out here.